ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं
नारायणं
नमस्कृत्यं
नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं
नरं
चैव
चैव
नरोत्तमं
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 देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं
देवीं
सरस्वतीं
सरस्वतीं
व्यासं
व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो
ततो
जयमुदीरये।
जयमुदीरये।
जयमुदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
अभद्रेषु
भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं
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 भागवत
भागवत
सेवया।
सेवयां
भागवतसेवया
भगवती उत्तमश्लोके
भगवती
भगवति
उत्तमश्लोके
उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति
भक्तिर्भवति
नैष्ठिकी।
नैष्ठिकी।
Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, titled Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. And today's verse is verse number 16. Tatraivam sati kartaram
तत्रैवं सति
तत्रैवं सति
कर्तारम्
तारं
कर्तारम्
atmanam kevalam tuya
आत्मनं
आत्मानं
आत्मानं
केवलं
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 तु
तु
यः
त्वया
यः
pashyati akrata buddhi tvan
पश्यति
पश्चात्
पश्यत्य अकृता
अकृतबुद्धित्वं
बुद्धित्वान्
nasha pashyati durmati.
न
न
स
सा
पश्यति
पश्यति
दुर्मतिः।
दुर्मतैः।
मति।
Tatraivam sati kartaram
तत्रैवं
तत्रैवं
सति
सति
एवं सति
कर्तारम्
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 atmanam kevalam tuya
आत्मनं
आत्मानं
आत्मानं
केवलं तु
केवलं
केवलं तु
यः
त्वया
यः
पश्याति कृत बुद्धि त्वं
पश्यति
पश्यति अकृत
पश्यत्यकृता
अकृतबुद्धित्वं
बुद्धित्वान्
न श पश्यति दुर्मति.
न
न
स
सा
पश्यति
पश्यति दुर्मति।
दुर्मतिः।
Anyone would like to lead?
तत्रैवं सति कर्तारम्
तत्रैवं
तत्रैवं
सति
तत्रैवं
सति
सति
कर्तारम्
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 आत्मनं केवलं तु यः
आत्मानं
आत्मानं
केवलं तु
केवलं
केवलं
तु
यः
यः
त्वया
पश्यति अकृतबुद्धित्वं
पश्यति
पश्यति
यति
अकृतबुद्धित्वान्
अकृतबुद्धित्वं
अकृतबुद्धित्वं
न स पश्यति दुर्मतिः।
न
न
स
स
न श
पश्यति
पश्यति
दुर्मतिः।
दुर्मतिः।
दुर्मति.
तत्रैवं सति कर्तारम्
तत्रैवं सति
तत्रैवं
तत्रैवं सति
सति
कर्तारम्
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 आत्मानं केवलं तु यः
आत्मनं
आत्मानं
आत्मानं
केवलं तु
केवलं तु
यः
केवलं तु
यः
यः
पश्यत्यै अकृतबुद्धित्वान्
पश्यति
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 अकृतबुद्धित्वं
अकृतबुद्धित्वान्
अकृतबुद्धित्वं
न स पश्यति दुर्मतिः।
न स
न स
पश्यति
पश्यति
दुर्मतिः।
दुर्मति.
दुर्मतिः।
Thank you. Word by word meaning. Tatra, there.
तत्र
तत्र
देव
there
Evam, thus.
एवं
एवं
दस्
एवं
दस्
thus
Sati, being.
सति
सति
बीइंग
being
Kartaram, the worker.
कर्तारं
कर्तारं
द
the
कर्तारं
वर्कर
the
worker
worker
Atmanam, himself.
आत्मानं
आत्मनं
आत्मानं
हिमसेल्फ
himself
Kevalam, only.
केवलम
केवलं
केवलम्
ओनली
only
only
Tu, but.
टू
to
to
बट
but
Yah, anyone.
यह
yeah
यः
एनीवन
anyone
anyone
Pashyati, sees.
पश्यति
पश्यति
sees
सीस
Akrita buddhitva,
अकृत बुद्धित्व
to,
due
बुद्धित्व
to unintelligence.
ड्यू
due
टू
to
due to
अनइंटेलिजेंस
unintelligence.
unintelligence.
No, never.
ना
No,
नेवर
never.
Never
Sa, he.
saw
सही
he
He
Pashyati, sees.
पश्यति
पश्यति
pashyati
सीस
sees
sees.
Durmati, foolish.
दुर्मति
दुर्मति
Durmati
फुलिश
foolish.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
प्रभुपाद
Right.
की जय
Therefore, no one thinks
Therefore,
therefore
no one
one who
thinks.
वन हु
thinks
One who
थिंक्स
thinks
himself the only doer,
हिमसेल्फ द
himself the
ओनली
only
डूअर
himself the
doer,
only doer,
not considering the five factors,
not
नॉट
not
considering the
कंसीडरिंग द
considering the
five
five
फाइव
factors,
फैक्टर्स
factors,
is certainly not very intelligent
is
इज
is
certainly
सर्टेनली
not
certainly
नॉट
very
not
वेरी
very
intelligent
इंटेलिजेंट
intelligent
and cannot see things as they are.
and
एंड
cannot
कैनॉट
cannot
see
सी
see
things
थिंग्स
things
as
एज
they
as
दे
are.
they
आर
are.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
की जय
A foolish person, anybody would like to read the purport?
A foolish person cannot understand that the supersoul is sitting as a friend within and conducting his actions. Although the material causes are the place, the worker, the endeavor, and the senses, the final cause is the supreme, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should see not only the four materials causes, but the supreme efficient cause as well. One who does not see the supreme thinks himself to be the doer.
Thank you very much, Roger. Let's all chant together. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manovyastam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuktapadakamala Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakavitamscha He Krishna
He
Karuna
Krishna
Sindhu
Karuna
Deenabandhu
Sindhu
Jagatpate
Jagatpate
Gopesha
Gopesha
Gopika Kanta
Gopika
Radha
Kanta
Kanta
Radha Kanta
Namastute
Namastute
Tapta
Tapta
Kanchana
Kanchana
Gaurangi
Gaurangi
Radhe
Radha
Vrindavaneshi
Vrindavaneshwari
Vrindavaneshwari
Vrishabhanusute
Vrishabhanusute
Devi
Devi
Pranamami
Pranamami
Hari
Hariye
Priye
Haripriye
Vanchakalpa
Vanchakalpataru
Tarubhyasya
Vishrupa Sindhu Vacha
Kripasinubhyeva
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namo
Namaha
Jai
Jai
Shri
Sri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
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 Prabhu
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 Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri Advaita
Sri Advaita
Gadadhar
Gadadhara
Adi
Srivasadi Gaura
Sadi
Gaura
Gaura
Bhaktavrinda
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare
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 Rama
Rama
Hare
Rama
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 Hare
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 Rama Rama
Nilachal
Rama
Nivasaya
Hare
Nityaya
Hare
Paramatmane Vallabhadra Subhadrabhyam
Jai
Jagannathaya
Nitya Jagan. Sorry,
So thank you so
Vindhyachal.
much for joining this wonderful Sangha. So as we heard in the 14th chapter, that there are 5 causes for every work to be realized in terms of the outcome, and those 5 are critical. So as you can see, we had Krishna who explained the objective, and then he gave a summary, and then he's now deliberately expanding on those topics. So likewise, if you see Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, Krishna gave a outline of Bhagavad Gita, wherein there is a setting, and the war is about to begin. And then in the second chapter, Krishna gave a summary of everything what he is going to talk in the future. So from 3rd to 17th, he spoke about different yoga system, different paths, different topics, wherein he showed his Vishwarupa, and so many topics was covered from 3 to 17. And then on 18th, he's summarizing again. So in that premise, if you see this 3 or 4 verses, Krishna is exactly doing that. 14th, he explained those 5 things. Prior to that, he gave a review in the 13th. And 15th, last time, we spoke a little bit, detailing those 5 items. And today, there is another aspect of those 5 items, which we're going to discuss. Next verse, Krishna is going to discuss another aspect of these 5 items. So today, the item which is discussed about these 5 items is the foolishness in thinking about the doer mentality. And then the next topic, 17th, will be around the non-doership, about why non-doership is also shunned by Krishna. So this doership and non-doership is a very critical thing if you think about. Whenever you want to do something, for example, you want to do, say, paneer butter masala. So then you have to know everything end to end, getting the ingredients, putting the right ingredient, cutting the ingredient, and then absolutely thinking about how to uh, process some of the masalas or spices, or our ability to create the garnish ahead of time. And then when the right time comes, you have to put the right items in the right timing so that everything get mixed up properly, and the sauce, the secret sauce, uh, uh, is percolated into the sabji, and then eventually it becomes a outright awesome dish. So this ability to learn, right, ability to proclaim and ability to implement is a very unique thing. Likewise, when you think about, in your days when there used to be manual car and the car never used to start, people used to come out of the car, they used to push the car, and at the right time, the person who's when the movement picks up, the person will release the clutch and get on the accelerator. Think about if a person doesn't know how to make, he knows 90% of the items, but the 10% of the item around preparing the paneer butter masala, he doesn't know. He doesn't know it right. And then he will create his mental concussion in how to prepare that. Likewise, when a person is trying to drive a car which is not running and relying on the motion to accelerate some internal combustion activity by releasing the clutch and accelerating at the right time, if the person doesn't know it, he just can't do it. So, likewise, if after reading Bhagavad Gita for so long, we don't really know that the final doer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we think we are the doer, which is explained here. So here, the worker, Kartaram, the doer, he is thinking that, the outcome of the activity is because of him. And, and that feeling of doership is mentioned by Krishna as akrita vidvitva. That means he is because of his unintelligence. Unintelligence is a nice way of saying that you are foolish. And also Krishna uses the word durmati. That means he is foolish because of his lack of intelligence. Akrita buddhitu. So the ability to think that you are the doer in any activity outcome after going through the process of understanding that there are five things. And what are those five things? Those five things are, the body has to be fit, the doer, the soul has to be clean, clear, and focused. The senses have to be totally focused around the objective of the work. And then you have to have the endeavor. Endeavor is very, very important. And then finally is the super cause, which is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that means these four and the Supreme Personality. So nowhere, and first you know that your body is not perfect. The second, our soul is contaminated by punarapi jaranam, punarapi maranam. We have gone through so many life cycles. We have taken whatever births in the past, we don't know, but by virtue of some good quality we have exhibited, we have become human beings this season in our current 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of life. And then, and our senses are going all around the place. And the endeavor is half hazard in many times. Sometimes you're very focused. That's one thing. Sometimes you give all the effort. Your senses are focused. Your soul is perfect. You're soulfully executing, and your body is perfect. But your super soul, by virtue of your prarabdha karma, is not aligned. The outcome is unsuccessful. And likewise, if the effort is not there, then it will also be unsuccessful, which is the traits of the lazy people. So anytime we give the importance to taking we from us, we from the outcome, and then become humble in our attitude in doing any work, it basically takes us forward in the outcome that we gave the best, but eventually we surrendered everything as an offering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the classic example at this time is, in New York City, if I remember correctly, the devotees, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada made supreme arrangements. They put placards to invite that there is Vedic activity is going to be discussed, and there is going to be a big program. And in New York City being a busy city, and they gave everything. Prabhupada also came from his different place to attend this, and they gave a lot of importance to the announcement that this event where the Vedic injunctions will be discussed and the outlining of the Vedic principles will be announced and discussed, and the importance of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada also came from somewhere, and only 7 people came. And in terms of an organizational angle, from a material perspective, you can say it is a disaster. But if you think about what Srila Prabhupada said at the end of the class to his disciples, he said, when the great Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is discussed, the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes with his entourage to hear. So Brahma comes, Hanumanji comes, and so many wonderful personalities come. So they all came to hear. So don't worry about the 7 personalities who showed up by virtue of your invitation, but think that it's not the quantity, it's the quality of people who are there. So that uh, so in the beginning of the movement, there was nowadays you have 300, 400 devotees coming to our Sunday feast. At that time, Srila Prabhupada was the lone person. He was cooking, he was speaking, he was getting everything together. And in 67, 68, it kind of enhanced, it increased. But it was everything was done by His divine grace at the time, at such a frail age with so much of difficulty. He started this movement, and now when we have 300 people coming here, and maybe 3, 4,000 people attending some of our congregation in Bombay and Delhi, we should not forget that we have started from a very humble beginning, and it is very difficult to not see the handiwork of great acharyas and the super cause of blessing. So today, what we see ISKCON is not what ISKCON was, and always when we realize the importance of somebody else in our success, we have an attitude of gratitude, and we are humble enough to recognize that uh, that we are there because of the grand work of our parents, of our relatives, of our friends, our well-wishers, and maybe there are not many positive stories to settle, but a humble attitude is very, very important, and that is where it is not it is always important for us to recognize that we are not the doer, and the person who feels that he is the doer, he is a fool, as Lord Krishna is explaining here. Sometimes when you think, nowadays there is so much of invention, so much of discoveries happening, and because of the supercomputing and our ability to uh, put artificial intelligence into any invention and discovery, the the speed in which the research is happening is becoming more and more. So we are able to create more output by virtue of all these additional tools and utilities we have nowadays. But we should think that these additional attributes are there to get us ahead. So think about you, the idea may be yours, the thinnest idea may be yours, but the idea has to be tested, has to be prescribed, has to be analyzed, and you're when you think about your from ideation to implementation, it goes through so many people's contribution that when a real product comes out, you are not the only one who really are at the root of all the causes. there is so many people who have contributed. Once you have that team building attitude, then we realize that we're collaborating with everything, with our near and dear, and we become successful in our ability to uh, do anything. So it's very important that we inculcate that sense of not saying meh, like a goat always ends up doing meh. I mean, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. But when we attribute our ability of success to others, we don't look like fools, thinking that everything has to do with me. So that's why people who are credit snatchers, after some time, they are hated in any community, whether it's the IT community or any community, and that's the reason why collaboration, when we are basically collaborating. So this is where Bhagavad Gita teaches a very beautiful topic, that how not to snatch credits from others when in every handiwork there is the uh, action or the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is elaborated so beautifully in this concluding uh, topics around this subtopic. And there are more topics which is coming. Surrender is a big topic which is coming in the the later part of 18th chapter. But to think that out of the five, the doership mentality, I have done this, it's me, I have this body, I'm from India, and I have this this attitude, and that attitude is actually demeaning in many ways, and it will take you down. The more we realize that we are here by the blessing of the Supreme, and all these things lined up. And on the day, like last week, we were discussing about how Kapiladev is describing to Mother Devahuti, his mother. Kapiladev is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How this Srishti Leela, how this universe was created, and during the creation of the universe, the handiwork of uh, the presiding deities for each of our organs was highlighted, and it looked as if nobody had any impact on creation of a universe other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is placing himself inside the Brahmanda. Brahmanda means golden egg. Anda means egg, Brahmanda. And then he's getting all these 24 Mahatattva elements. He's kind of mixing it up like a saute, you would think, in the paneer butter masala example, or however you want to understand. And then he is creating this beautiful universe. And then in order to maintain the different parts of the universe, he is actually assigning different demigods, Agni Dev for certain things, for Indradev for certain things, and so on and so forth. So to think that we are the doer is a foolish thing, as Krishna is ascertaining here. And sometimes when you think that why um, the presiding organ and the sensory organ are not one the same. You may have the eye, but you may not have the senses to see through the eye. There are people who have eyes, but they do not, they're kind of physically, are blind, and that's why they can't see. So we are very fortunate in our ability to understand that Lord has given us this beautiful life to us, and we should always have that sense of attitude of gratitude. Otherwise, we are not going to make any progress in spiritual life. And these little things about doership is something which will probably help us in becoming better human beings. And these are the 24 elements we talked about. And ears, voice, Agnidev, hands, Indradev, legs, Vishnu, and so on and so forth. These 24 elements are very clearly mentioned, and how we have these five items, which eventually drives. So never ever think that we are the doer in any sense. There is handiwork of our parents, blessings of our parents, of our gurus, of our founder Acharya, and our friends, our uh, families in every step of the way. Once you build that non-doership attitude in your life, you will be better husband, uh, better son, better father in your life, and more you accommodate others in your life, you become more glorious. So shun the doership mentality. I think that the Supreme Personality has a hand in everything, and in doing so, uh, that mentality will get inculcated in you, and you become more humble and nicer and appreciative to one and all. A big trait from Bhagavad Gita for our lives lessons to imbibe. So with that, I'd like to end here. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Any question, comments, thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. All Hare Krishna to all Vaishnavas. Prabhuji, thank you for a very well, with a good meaning, the shloka. What I got the realization from, I'm sharing, Prabhuji, which is nothing different from what you have told, but I just want to share with the group. The emphasis here is that, Prabhuji, if we shun that attitude of doership, the main thing is, Prabhuji, we will see we will see from the we will see the position as it is, Prabhuji. There is no room for error or room for interpretation there, right? Krishna will reveal the exactness of the situation, which is, otherwise we will only through our senses, which are not perfect, as you have rightly told in the beginning. So there is a room of error. Definitely there will be a room of error if we see it from our senses. But if we follow Krishna's guiding principle, that, and we know that it is the super soul which is driving everything, and then we get the real perspective of the situation, Prabhuji. That is what the realization of the situation, what I would say is that, right? Otherwise, we only know the meaning of it, or we only understand the context of it, but we won't understand the exactness of the situation unless we shun that mentality, Guruji. I wanted to emphasize on that, that the exactness of the situation is the most important. Otherwise, we think, we start blaming, we start criticizing, we start criticize ourselves, self-critics. We become self-critics, whatever that situation may be, Prabhuji. But we get the exact perspective. Okay, what is the left side of it? What is the right side of it? What is the top? What is the bottom? We get the all perspectives, Prabhuji. As engineering, we see the multiple perspectives. Similarly, here we get the perspectives by changing our consciousness to the non-doership. Krishna is the supreme doer. That is what the main realization I got, Prabhuji, when you were explaining. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So let's expand on what Prabhuji said. Prabhuji said something very deeper in the sense that whenever you say you are doing, you are not able to see the handiwork of so many things. But once you realize that you are nothing in this, even if you have done a lot, nobody's taking away your credit. But if you have said, and from a consciousness you realize that you are insignificant, you are insignificant than a blade of grass or humbler than a tree, then you realize that this universe is so beautifully created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By 15th April, we end up giving taxes for using city dwellings and so on and so forth for a country in certain country. However, this beautiful universe is created and we don't have any sense. And then we do not see the value of our parents or our relatives or our friends, our teachers. So it makes you a better person when you realize that you are not doer, and there is a lot of people who have done a lot of groundwork for you to flourish. And the same can be talked about by so many things nowadays with evolution and a lot of facilities. The content of the knowledge people are getting in their 4-year colleges is so significant, but if they do not recognize that the hard work done in the past is because of which they are crossing the bar, then they will have a lot of ego and they cannot be a great human being in the first. So this is a humanistic. So this is where Bhagavad Gita teaches us life lessons to be a human as to how we should interact and behave. So being humble is not feeling you're weak or meek in that sense. You're feeling less of yourself and more of someone else. Humility is not a cowardice or a meek definition. Humility is seeing less of yourself and seeing more of the Supreme and more of others in every step of the way. Thank you for pointing that out.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Any other thoughts?
I'm good, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Just
One.
wanted to say that I missed the last few classes. I got COVID during Christmas time. So, I mean, it was bad to manage the home, everything. Otherwise, I would have joined the last.
You didn't had a lot of symptoms, right?
I didn't have lot of symptom, Prabhuji, but my wife, she got lot of symptom. Lot of symptom in the sense it lasted a long time for her actually. Even after taking the Paxlovid, that is a COVID medicine.
Okay, hope everyone is feeling better now.
Yes, everyone is good now.
And let us know if we could be of any assistance. You're not alone in this battle of COVID. We all should.
Yeah. Yeah, Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Any other comments?
Prabhuji, one observation on the try to avoid the latest versions of the vaccine, Prabhuji. People are having hemorrhages basically, Prabhuji, with that. Especially if our age is more, so that is a common side effect, I think, is emerging of those vaccines, Prabhuji. If you can avoid those vaccines, it is better. The later versions, okay, initial versions, I think they are good. The later versions
yes,
are...
Prabhuji. After initial version, I have not taken anything. In my
That's
family
good,
also,
Prabhuji. Yeah.
kids also has not taken anything. So
Yeah.
we are at the mercy of Krishna right now.
That is good, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's an observation and it's a opinion which we are hearing from many.
Right.
But as long as you can take whatever is right for you, but that's
Heart issues,
observation.
Prabhuji. Yeah, heart issues are main, Prabhuji. Main heart issues, like people are telling that if you are a cardio person and you are doing over cardio, there is a chance of failure after the vaccines. That's the general observation people are commenting. And there were cases.
In fact, that
I
is
don't know
happening,
that.
Prabhuji.
What
That's
is that,
lot
Prabhuji?
of, I mean, what you mentioned, right? That is happening.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other comments? Thank you, Prabhu. Any other thoughts? Niranjan Prabhu, Tarlaka Prabhu, Rohit Prabhu.
No comments, Prabhuji. Thank you for the class. Just a small observation. Just some realization that like it is true when we distance ourselves from our task, if we don't think about we need appreciation for this kind of task, then it removes situations where you get upset that you're expecting some reward, you did something. So those kinds of feelings go away once you detach yourself from the work. So that was just the realization from the discussion only.
Perfect, perfect.
Yes, Guruji.
Yeah, this craving for praise is there
Recognition. Yeah.
in almost everyone. Believe me, it's a very difficult. It starts from childhood because our society is like that. They have, okay, if you come first in the class, you'll get two chocolate. That becomes that bribery becomes more and more as you grow, and by the time you get to work, you're looking for, and then parents are not there anyone, so you want to do good work, and if it doesn't come out, you feel pressured, and more and more we take Bhagavad Gita into our lives, we realize that we are nothing. We are basically, we are not doer at all. Somebody else is doing. We're just showing enthusiasm. But that's a very good point, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, just to add one funny story to that, the first time I joined the first job I got, the senior first thing he said was, "It doesn't matter how much work you do, you have to show off uh, that you did so much, so much." So the society itself pushes you
Hmm.
down that road.
Right? Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, nothing wrong, in fact, showing off, because obviously in front of Krishna, we will say that we are humble and you are doing everything. But, in a materialistic life, if that is required, so I mean, it's better to show it off. But when we are in front of Krishna, we know that, okay, means you are the Supreme Lord, and you make the complete world dance through your tunes.
But one thing I want to um, say that, Prabhuji, with my personal experience, definitely for survival, those are the survival tactics, Prabhuji, to project what we have done. But my personal observation is, Prabhuji, if you really do with the most sincere attitude, without any recognition without for any other craving, right? If you sincerely do, I have seen, Prabhuji, some or other time, your that comes out, Prabhuji. You will be recognized,
Hmm.
if not in this organization or somewhere else in the any part of walk of your life, you get the benefit, Prabhuji.
Hmm. Right.
That is definite, Prabhuji. So, if the situation warrants that you have to show off for your survival, you should. I'm not against that, Prabhuji. But the deeper meaning, what I want to tell is that ultimately, I have seen, Prabhuji, truth always triumphs, they say, right?
Hmm.
So similarly, if we are humble and we are craving, because Bhakti Charu Maharaj says that the if we are humble, then everything Krishna automatically sits in our heart, Prabhuji. A humble heart, Krishna always likes humble hearts, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
So it's okay if somebody is taking the credit, but that's only temporary. Finally, Krishna is seeing everything, and you can try this, Prabhuji. At some point of time, you'll have a lot of, you'll get more than what you think, Prabhuji. What
I have
happens
just
by this showing of, Prabhuji? What happens is that we also get involved in that political circle,
Hmm.
and our consciousness then starts getting corrupted. As Prabhuji told, the soul gets corrupted in this political environment. Means we also try to do counteract, counteract. We start all these vicious circle. We start, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
I have just, Prabhuji, with due respect, yeah, whatever you said, right? I just have a different opinion on this one. You know why?
Right,
Because
Prabhuji.
even you see Arjun and everything, they
Mm-hmm.
were Rajarishis, right? So
Right.
we have to be like, when we get into the material world, in
Mm.
the morning, go to the office. I mean, the you, in my opinion, that devotional part should be hidden, and we should be representing ourselves like a hard karmi kind of thing, so that the sometimes what happens, people when they become humble, usually it
Mm.
happens when we chant and they become so humble, others take them for granted, which should never happen. I'm giving you an example. Suppose tomorrow you will be a prime minister of India. Do you think you can run the country being humble? No, right? So there has to be very, when you are doing whatever job, you should completely embed. And means, in my opinion, I may be wrong, politics, everything is okay as long as everything played according to Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So finally, at the end of the day, everything belongs to Krishna. So I mean, obviously, as long as you are not doing any harm to others, but obviously, finally, that happens whatever Krishna wants. So otherwise, imagine that someone who is working in defense, someone who is a political leader, or Narendra Modi running the country. So I mean, it depends, means, on what role you are in, and the more higher you will be elevated, m- a lot of pressures will be kind of, will try to pull you down, right? So means you have to make a balance between, both of it. But everything, but there is a saying that if a Krishna conscious person plays politics, then nobody can beat him. And if he plays cricket, then nobody can, play better than him. So obviously, means we have to do that. But that's my personal opinion.
No, Prabhuji. Yeah, let's talk about that, Prabhuji. Since you brought that topic, I'm not at all saying that we should be like a doormat. Srimandavan Das Prabhu always says that don't be a doormat, so that people will take you for granted. What the approach I think we should take is, because Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, I am the cheater among the cheat, right? He clearly
Yeah.
says that I am I'm the cheater, and so if somebody is cheating, we should take an action, Prabhuji. What I'm trying to tell is that the moment we start for craving within your
Yeah.
consciousness, that's where the fall down starts for our consciousness.
Exactly.
I'm not telling that we should not play politics if the for survival, because Krishna also played many tricks, Prabhuji, right? When Jarasandha was not getting killed, how did he inform Bhima, right?
Yes.
You are not supposed to give any hint, but he gave the hint. Similarly, when Bhishma was uh, I think the wheel, Krishna broke his rule. So we should not be definitely doormat, but what I'm telling is that we should not get caught in that act counteract cycle. So what will happen is that we lose the main focus. Our chanting will be disturbed and everything.
Yes,
It's better to be. It is better to be upfront, as you said, that raise the point in the meeting what you beg to differ, and keep your opinion and voice your opinion, definitely, Prabhuji. But the moment we are trying to do your voice or opinion to for you to be superior, that's where the
that
fall
is not.
down is.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, that's my point, Prabhuji.
Yeah, good points. You have a very good practical viewpoint in this discussion. But one thing we should recognize that this Bhakti Vriksha or any of the concepts we're learning is actually for our benefit to
Yes.
foster our sadhana. So what
Mm.
happens is when you go be very sort of assertive, you're not. So sometimes you take over, and no one is saying you should chant. Chanting is a very personal thing. Chanting number of rounds, it's a very personal thing. And but the thing is, once you show a different view of yours in the workplace, when you come back and start doing your sadhana, you can not live two lives in one body, right? So what
Yeah.
happens is it becomes a very challenging thing. So this process of Bhakti Vriksha is for our benefit, and situations vary, and you have the right to do the right thing. But we should recognize that as it becomes a habit, we cannot we cannot have dualism within us, and that is something which can be disturbing. People become so much professional that they have to leave Krishna consciousness, and they cannot sustain a good spiritual life. So those are some of the thoughts.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Even
Any other
our
thoughts? Yeah.
even our Siksha gurus like Prabhuji, Haridas Thakur, and others, they were such a good administrators, also being Krishna consciousness. So if you will see, so and some of the
Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you
devotees,
mean?
Thakur, for
He was
example,
the collector of Puri, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
he was such a great administrator, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them also served under Muslim kings.
Mm-hmm.
How tough it was,
Rupa
and
Goswami, Sanatan
yeah,
Goswami, yeah.
without being Krishna consciousness, it would have been very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And the Muslim kings, they have very utmost respect from them
Mm-hmm.
for their skills. I mean, whatever they brought to the table, kind of thing. But they are so highly advanced, spiritual. So those things actually really brings, lot of
Mm-hmm.
perspective to us.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other thoughts? So if there is no points,
Prabhuji, I have one question, Prabhuji.
mm-hmm.
It's not a. Prabhuji, does anyone in our group uh, know how to systematically study Bhagavatam, Prabhuji? Is there a resource like website where we can study Bhagavatam? Because I feel that I'm lacking there, so that's why I'm raising this question.
Yeah. So
Systematic
Prabhu,
study of Srimad Bhagavatam.
right. So Prabhu, in our temple, every day morning, 6:30 to 7, we have systematic study of Srimad Bhagavatam through Zoom in our
Yeah,
temple.
but somewhere we are in the middle, Prabhuji, right?
We are actually now in the third canto,
Third canto. Yeah, I want
26th
to
chapter.
know from first canto because Prabhupada always emphasizes to read from first canto, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Right?
actually during COVID, Prabhu, we started with first canto, and not COVID, even before that. So if you are thinking
But
of,
I frankly speaking, I'm looking from some of our acharyas or second level, second generation leaders, Prabhuji. Do we have any?
Prabhu, a systematic study of Srimad Bhagavatam, uh, they are starting some Bhakti Shastri course and Bhakti Vaibhav course, Prabhu. That
Right, Prabhuji.
if you join, it will not be every sloka, but if you're looking to have a group who wants to start from um,
If not
maybe
every
after
shloka, the synopsis of the chapter, Prabhuji.
so you want synopsis by chapter,
No,
like
no,
every
no.
week.
Yeah, like the summary where we get the essence of the Bhagavatam, Prabhuji. That's what my main
So
intent is.
Srimad Bhagavatam is into 12 cantos, so many chapters,
Right,
and 18,000 verses, right?
right.
So if you go verse by verse, it will take um, you know 30
Lifetime,
years to
one life.
complete.
Yeah, very.
So
Yeah.
if you want chapter by chapter, we have to go by how many chapters we have. I can, I think I had a count once. We can, you can do something, but let's go back and find out who can help in Prabhu's question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
Prabhuji, for online, that portal is there, right? So ISKCON's portal where we have Srimad Bhagavatam.
ISKCON Desire Tree, Prabhuji?
No, not ISKCON Desire Tree, Prabhuji. Vedaves.in.
Yeah, but that is for reading, Prabhuji, right?
That is for reading, yes.
No, for
Yeah,
hearing,
no.
Prabhu, if you
I
want
want to hear.
pre-recorded
Yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam, you can go
Mhm.
to srimadbhagavatamclasses.com.
Oh, is
The
it?
audio
That's
is
what
there.
I was looking for, Prabhuji. Okay. But
Srimad
taught by
Bhagavatam
whom,
classes.
Prabhuji? Is it by some realized?
No, it's a
Um,
ISKCON website.
okay, Prabhuji.
So it has the audios with a lot of Bhakti Charu Maharaj classes are there.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji. Sure. It's called Srimad Bhagavatam Classes.
.com.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah, I was really looking for such thing.
But
Yeah.
Prabhu, what I think we should do, Yeah, that's definitely hearing from a bona fide source. But one thing is,
Mhm.
Srimad Bhagavatam, if it is discussed, if it's heard and discussed within a group, it has some other benefits.
Definitely, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
With
Anyway.
my timing, what Prabhuji is a little challenge to, yeah, that's why at least want to make an endeavor to at least start reading. And this the Srimad Bhagavatam classes, is it chronological, Prabhuji? Means from a first verse to, means first chapter
Yes.
to the, okay.
I'm just seeing Prabhuji. Bhurijana Prabhu has spoken from
Mhm.
chapter 1 onwards. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm just sharing the URL here, Prabhuji. Just give me 1 second. This is called as Srimad Bhagavatam class.com. So
Oh,
let
that's what
me see.
him Jagannath Prabhu was mentioning,
Yes,
right?
yes, that is the one he has
Okay.
mentioned. So yeah. So it has Canto 1
Thank you,
almost
Prabhuji.
everyone is
Really
there.
appreciate. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu, for contribution. Your
Yeah.
and actually, as part of just a small announcement, as part of the 22nd January upcoming Ayodhya announcement, Ayodhya Pran Pratishtha announcement of for Ramji, our temple is going to do uh, various kanda like Aranya Kanda, Kiskinda Kanda, focused life lessons from those kandas, starting from maybe day after tomorrow in the evening, 7 to 8. So if you want the entire Ramayana to be discussed and heard about life lessons from each of the 7, 8 major kandas from Monday onwards, all the way till 22nd. On the 22nd, um, there will be Harinam, Ramnam in the temple in commemoration for the upcoming Pran Pratishtha, just for your information. So you can always,
Thank you.
I'll share the
Yeah.
link in the PV group. You can attend 7 to 8 Ram Katha.
Sure, Prabhuji. If time permits, definitely I'll attend. Prabhuji, but since you have told that if somebody really wants to hear authentic Ramayana, Prabhuji, Shubh Vilas Prabhu's,
Yeah.
we should
On day one of this entire series, Prabhu,
Mhm.
our temple is planning to request Subhilas Prabhu to come to our channel, Zoom
Oh,
channel.
really?
Yeah,
Very
let's see what
bold.
happens.
Prabhuji, what time you mentioned, Prabhuji?
7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
If Shubh Vilas Prabhu is delivering, Prabhuji, ultimate Prabhuji, it is exactly as you today's verse you
Exactly.
explained, Prabhuji. His perspective, Krishna gives as though it's happening in front of you. He explains like that, Prabhuji, because Krishna gave him that perspective, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
And Prabhuji, he always brings Ramayan's perspective. That is
Mhm.
very beautiful. Whatever we never have heard from
Mm.
Ramayan, so he brings everything in all his
Yeah,
Bhagavatam class.
we learn a lot, Prabhuji, from
Yes.
his Ramayana.
Absolutely. It's written few books on Ramayana as well.
Mhm. Right, Prabhuji. All his books are based on Ramayana and Hanumanji, Prabhuji.
So with that, let's end here by
Sure,
offering
Prabhuji.
obeisances at the
Yeah,
lotus feet
thank
of
you.
all Vaishnavas by saying Vancha
Vancha
kalpataruvesha
kalpataru
kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanevyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo Vaishnavavrinda ki jai Bhagavad
Jai.
Gita ki jai Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Prabhupada
jai
ki
Gaur
jai.
Premanande Hari Hari
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari Bol.